Hi guys, welcome back to the podcast. Today we have Tony Revell on the podcast. He is a very experienced high rocks athlete and coach. He's the other half to the doubles duo with Ciaran Parkinson. If you've listened to our podcast with Ciaran, currently they're chasing the Elite 15 qualification after taking an amazing third place in the World Championships in Nice last year and last at the end of last season. We watched you guys race in Melbourne, and it was a crazy race, totally unreal. So it's really good to get you on the podcast. Thank you for your time, Tony.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Thanks for uh, thanks for having me on board.
No, absolutely. Firstly, we maybe wanted to start with not necessarily the Melbourne race, but I think everyone was invested in your Melbourne journey. Because when we saw you running up and down in the airport trying to get any form of exercise and stretch of the legs on your very delayed journey, we were totally hooked. So maybe you could just let everyone know who didn't follow on Instagram what happened when you were trying to get across to that race.
Yeah, so like I say, for those who didn't see mine and Kieran's rather delayed journey, me and Ciaran left it in kind of our usual style of busy lifestyles, the family and everything kind of left us with limited time to get away anyway. So we had left it quite late on our flights. We had 3 days prior to head out to Oz to try and get acclimatized to the time change anyway, so it was pretty tight. Got our flight with our transfer at Abu Dhabi. Because of a delay of the flight, we then missed the transfer over, which then had us stuck in Abu Dhabi airport for 24 hours, which wasn't ideal for pre-race prep with 3 days to go. So yeah, we were given a hotel like a box, like a prison cell in the airport. We couldn't get out. We had couldn't get fresh air. Couldn't really get too much doing. So we tried to find ways to entertain ourselves and keep the legs moving. So from running about the airport to playing target games of bottles and and having little selfies and Christmas photos together and everything else. It was quite a drama, but in the grand scheme of things, it didn't help the situation of trying to get the legs moving again and trying to get ourselves acclimatized for Oz. Because by the time we actually landed in Melbourne, I think we had less than 48 hours to get ourselves acclimatized. So it wasn't ideal.
Yeah, no, not at all. I mean, I must say, I think I know you were also probably like, oh no, this is horrendous, but the positiveness that you tried to bring, I think was really good, because I know it must have been awful thinking you're literally counting down the hours of we're racing soon and we're still not even in the right country. It must have been a difficult situation, but I think shows your mindsets to try and just keep going and still see what you can do to help.
100%. I think I've always sort of grown up with that mentality of trying to make the best out of a bad situation. You can sit and sulk about things which don't go your way, or you can just get on with it and find a way of trying to keep things on the positive and not let your head get in your head and push you down.
Yeah, no, totally. I mean, it was quite good to follow. I know it probably wasn't the best situation, but so many people were hooked. So fair play. No, absolutely fair play. And then the race, obviously we have to go to the race. You guys are still chasing that Elite 15 qualification, because the race was just unreal, wasn't it? You were so I mean, we were screaming at you guys when you were running, because I think you were in fourth place by I don't know, 5 seconds or something. It was like nothing by the time you got to the wall balls.
Yeah, no, it was the whole. I think it was like 5 teams who were all neck and neck from the start. We literally went off. We went off quite fairly paced rather than our usual send it out the block, just because we knew the body wouldn't be quite reacting quite as well as we was hoping. But by the time we come to the rower, we looked across and all 5 teams are with each other, and I think we come off in quite a good stead, about third again off the rower. Things were going sort of pretty well. I felt really good in myself, and I was like, okay, I'm over that jet lag feeling a little bit. Just managed to push it to the back of my mind. Let's keep working. And then Ciaran's knee started to flare up. He was like, mate, my knee is going. I was like, come on, we'll keep digging. Let's just do what we got here. We're here now. We've got one shot here. Let's keep moving through. And yeah, we come into those wall balls. All of it. We come in just before, and the Belgian boys had sort of just come by us in the rock zone. I knew it was going to be tight. Cause, them boys, they're very good. They're decent athletes. They deserve that third spot as much as anyone. But yeah, it was sucked to fall short. I think it was 12 seconds in it in the end. So come away fourth for 12 seconds was a bit of a blow, but that's okay. We took a bit of a knock since then because Ciaran has been sort of suffering with that knee since. But he's on the mend and things are moving well. So we're going to be back out in Miami and have another shot. So we'll see where we go there.
Yeah, I mean, it is. I think everyone that was like watching there supporting felt for you, because I think a fourth has got to be the hardest position to finish when you're that close. Like I think it was so neck and neck, and everyone I think was screaming at everyone like from the sides watching the race, and I don't think anyone could believe how close it was. But I think you guys did yourselves proud to go out, and with the circumstances of the travel, like to be able to still put a performance like that and like fight for a place was pretty impressive. So as much as I know it wasn't the result that you were looking for, I think like you definitely you did yourselves proud out there.
Thanks, guys.
No, it was good to see. But
so I was going to say, how long is it till Miami now then?
Well, so we've got Miami's in April, so they've got the Houston qualifier prior to that as well. We're not out for that one. Just obviously haven't got the timescales of getting Ciaran in shape and ready to go. But yeah, hopefully we all should be ready to send it in Miami. So yeah, I think we've got about 6 weeks or so. So it's good.
6 weeks. Yeah, perfect. That should work quite well. Good time to get a good block in, and then hopefully Ciaran the time for his knee to settle, and then
we're hopefully going to make it'll come back in Glasgow, and sort of a bit of a race back in the legs and see how things are moving there. So that'll be our next race together. I think it's going to be a big one because they'll have all the boys over from the E15 on the Friday. So I expect I've heard a few rumours of a few forces are going to be joined, so it'll be a spicy race. So we're out to get involved.
Oh, that'll be cool.
Good atmosphere for sure.
Yeah,
at least definitely. The journey will be easier.
Yeah, that's it. It's an hour plane ride.
Yeah. Happy days.
And then before we delve too much more into the high rocks and your racing and coaching, I just wanted to ask a little bit about your background. You're an ex mountain bike racer, is that right?
That's right, yeah.
What kind of racing?
So I come from sort of the XC mountain biking, so cross country mountain biking.
Oh, okay.
I used to delve into a bit of all aspects of cycling when I was into it. I was used to jump on the road and back across onto the mountain bike a bit, but yeah, that was my background. I think that's what really built my engine, which then transferred really well across the board into high rocks.
Yeah, definitely.
I was like, because we were talking about it before. I did a lot of mountain biking, but enduro, and was like, have you ever heard of Tony? And I was like, no, maybe it was a downhiller. And then you've just said you're a cross country racer. But I think the cap and the outfit, and you look very downhill. You don't really look like that you're standing.
Yeah, I was a big guy. I was a big guy for the XC scene, but
brutal though, isn't it? A brutal race, like probably gets you well set up for
I think
high rocks.
It's so explosive. It's so much where there's so many climbs where you're in the red, and then you've got to sort of recover whilst you're still at a high level of work. And I think that transfers across from like station work to runs really well, of that interval based whilst still at a high load of recovery. That I think transferred really well across from the cycling into the high rocks.
Yeah. And do you still do any now? Do you still do you use a watt bike? Do you go out on the mountain bike?
No. I think I raced myself sick of it, and I think I sulk probably still, because we can touch base on it a bit more. But my career sort of ended at COVID. I qualified through to go and do the World Championships and race the UCI scenes on the XC. The year COVID come along, sort of took that away from me. I never quite got to that next level up that I wanted to be, and then I sort of delved myself into my family business in the demolition construction business, whilst a lot of the younger lads, they were furloughed. They just spent 2 years just absolutely grinding it and obviously putting some great work in. COVID finally passed. I went back to racing and hadn't been putting the work I needed to be putting in to be at that level still, and got absolutely spanked, to be honest. And I
It's
think I
horrible
probably,
when you're trying to hold on to like a lead pack
oh,
or something, isn't it?
it was horrendous. And I go off to the lads that prior to COVID would have been hanging with, and yeah, they just turned me over. And I could I think my mindset, if I could have got my head right, I would have trained again and come back to what I wanted to be. But I think my mind had sort of, I'd lost the love for it. And like with any sport, unless you love it, you're never going to make it. You've got to love what you do. If you're not passionate about being there, and I had lost that passion, that little spark of riding the bike, and then I kind of just, yeah, that was it really. The bike sort of ended up back in the shed, and pretty much ended up on the beer for probably about 2 years until I found High Rocks, and then yeah.
So
And then
how did that happen then? What was the transition? How did you find out about High Rocks?
it was through a pal of mine. They in a local gym up the road. It was CrossFit gym. He took me along. He's like, "I'm gonna have a go at this. Like, you're coming to get into something just to take my mind off," because I was just working so many hours. Just I have that obsessive personality where if I'm not doing something, I'm doing something else. And at the time, I just wasn't training, wasn't doing nothing, and I was just rafting. I was just working all the time, building the construction business. But it was almost too much. And he took me along to the CrossFit gym and I had a go. And I was okay. Yeah, I can get through. After to CrossFit, I just was never going to have the strength or like that aspect from me. And I kind of liked it, but not as much. And then they started become a High Rocks affiliate, and they started doing some High Rock stuff. I was like, "Oh, this is all right." Jumped into London, I suppose it would have been 4 seasons ago now, the last race of the season before they had the Vegas World Championships, and went and done a race there, completely novice to it. Like, didn't have a clue what I was doing really, but rocked up as most of us do on our first one, like sent it out the pen and made so many mistakes. But I think I can wear like with a 106 in the open, which I was quite happy with at the time, and I think it's like fifth overall at the time as well, which this was back in the days when a 106 was a fast time. If you were near the hour mark, you were going to win the race. Whereas these days, it's seriously evolved. But yeah, so that was that, and I walked away and I was like, I've got the bug. I like this. And then the more I looked into it, the more I started to learn how to train towards it and how to start to do it. And then the obsession was fully into me then, and then all is from there on is history.
Yeah. Oh no, it's cool. It's interesting to hear how people like hear about it or find it, and then also like the crossover from other sports. And so with the biking background, was the running like regularly, I guess, quite new to you, or did you do any running before?
Yeah, no, I done very little running. I think I used to run now and then. I thought I'm going to do some running to help with my cycling training, but I was like, this is boring. This sucks. But like, I was okay at it just because I had such a massive engine from the cycling. I remember when I was cycling, I rocked up at a local park run. I was like, oh, I'm going to go and do that. So I rode there, and one of the guys I used to be sort of battling with quite often was also there on from the mountain bike scene. He was doing this park run. I was like, he's not beating me today. Little did I know he was a very good runner. So I've gone off the blocks, and I'm like, right, I'm going to hold on to him. I'm going to hang on for dear life. And the guy, Kim Little, he was called, and I remember just sitting on his toes, sitting on his tail the whole time. And I think we run like a 17-minute 5K at the time for someone who didn't do any running. I was like absolutely cooked, but I hung on, and he beat me by that. He literally ran in front of me. I was gutted. I don't think I could walk for about 2 weeks after. I absolutely shredded my calves where the legs were, the engine was there, but the legs were like, what are you doing to me? But yeah, so I was always quite okay at running. I think naturally it was sort of in me, but yeah, never really enjoyed running until, actually, to be fair, I'm a good runner, but I can't say I don't necessarily enjoy running now. I just know it's something you've got to do to get good. You've got to run more. So
Yeah.
If you're gonna race High Rocks, you gotta run.
I think you're obviously quite good at suffering though. Just being able to like go out and hold on seems to be, well, cross country is a suffer fest. Then holding on for a 5K suffer fest. Like
yeah, I think that is probably my superpower as such within a lot of sport is I've got. If you put me against most athletes, put me against Ciaran, you put me most athletes in a training zone, they'll probably smoke me. Like but you put me in a race zone when I got to get into that race mind. I've got this another gear. I've got this dark place in me, which I get in this little box and I'll go in this dark hole, and I love it. It's kind of like my shut off of life. I think everything, a lot of stress, a lot of pressure over life just sort of goes away, and I just feel I'm in this zone, and it's like a drug to me, and I absolutely love that horrible dark feeling of hurt.
Yeah.
Yes.
So funny, isn't it? And then
Yeah.
what do you, and like you say you go into it only when you're in a race. If you had a tough training session, could you put yourself in that hole, or is it just when you're in
when
a
I'm
race?
racing, unless you put a flag at the end of it, I struggle to get into the place where I am when I'm in a race, when I'm in that race mode.
That's so crazy. And what do you like? Do you do anything before a race to get yourself into it, or do you just, is it just literally as soon as the gun goes off or whatever, you're let out the pen, you just in it?
I think once you get psyched up, I'm in the zone. I'm such a loud, bubbly person normally. Like I'm quite out there. And Ciaran will always say, like, as soon as it comes to race day, like when that last couple of hours before, I just go quiet, and that's when I'm just like, okay, things are starting to fester in me. Like I'm ready to go. And I just don't say too much. I don't show too much nerves. Like, I'm just there. But obviously, I feel that I love that adrenaline. I love that nervous feeling. Like that's what comes with a race. It's that start line buzz. You're in there, and you can just feel the energy of everyone else who wants to go, and it's just addictive. And once it goes, even when we race, like Ciaran says, we don't talk much. But considering we sort of gel so well with, I'm pretty quiet. Like I don't communicate a great deal, but we kind of know. We just know in sync where we're at, what we're doing, and we'd have the odd sort of touch base and make sure we're all good, or what we're doing, or if we're going to change a little bit of the plan if someone's feeling a little lesser or whatever, and that's about it. And then it's very silent race until the end, and then back to me, and I'm back to my normal big chatty bubbly self.
Yeah, it's so interesting. And do you think it's more doubles that you race? Do you think that's better suited to you with like the power and explosiveness, and like, because doubles is kind of a different race to singles in the intensity, I guess. Do you find it better?
Yeah, doubles is, I think it is. It's a totally different element of racing compared to solo. It's such a different approach to how you attack a doubles race over a solo. And for me, I think I have a quick recovery. So that explosion and then having 20 seconds, 30 seconds, or whatever, whilst your partner is on that station, just gives me enough time to recover, to get down. And I think that is very suited to me. And Ciaran also, like, we both agree the doubles side suits us really well. Like so we're respectful, would hold our own in solo, but I like doubles. I enjoy the buzz, I enjoy the racing, and I like the fact I get that little bit of recovery to really go hard again.
Absolutely.
It is. I think as High Rocks gets evolves more than it is now, I think there's going to be two different races, isn't there? That you're going to have your solo races, and then you're going to have specific double races. It's going to be hard to do the crossover because everyone's going to be so specific, I guess. A bit like if you go back to biking or running, you have your cross country races and you have your downhillers, and they don't really, they're all good bikers, but you don't really cross that much.
No, even with the relay, we recently just done the relay in London. Not that you would not your nerve at it, because High Rocks have lost our complete result, even though it's third fastest time in the world. But never mind.
Did they lose? Did the Theta team get their world record then, or has that been lost?
The Theta boy, we were second behind the Theta guys, so they smashed their current world record, which I think we matched. And then the boys, it was a great race for them. We were neck and neck right to the lunges. And then I think Ollie left his kneecaps out on the lunge course again, and and then they put a little bit of time into us. Again, it was 20 odd seconds by the end. But what a race! Like, that is another complete niche. And the Theta boys, hats off to them, because they are relay specialists. Like they love it, and they're so good at that race. It's impressive. But I think we're going to be back. We're going to re-round up our squad of Avengers, me, Jezza, Lee and Rae. I think we need to have another go, because I think we can break that record. It's not far away.
Yeah, and I think it's like a healthy competition as well, isn't it? Because you got you guys that are so there's nothing in it, seconds in it. It's just
definitely.
You've got to go back and give them a run for the money.
Yeah, we spoke to the Theta boy. I think we're going to probably tie in and race together again. So we push ourselves and see what comes of it.
Yeah, it's so cool. But it like you say, it's a totally different race again. It's like all that, like, as much as there is tactics, it's also just like literally send it for like however many minutes. Yeah, 7 minutes or whatever you're out there for. Like, brutal.
It's savage. Yeah, it's probably the most savage race in the high rocks, in the fact that in such a short space of time you go to such a high level, like you're just coughing blood afterwards. It's horrendous. Like, you can't recover.
Yeah. Horrendous. And then back to the doubles. Do you have any tips, like, for anyone listening that might be doing a doubles race, whether it's mixed male and female, just female or just male, like how you might help work out strategies or who does what, or any sort of tips overall for any doubles teams?
Yeah, I could go on forever with doubles tips, just for the style of how it's like. Communication is probably your biggest help on a doubles race, because like there's so many different levels of athlete you can have. You can have two guys who are very good runners, and then they're probably quite even in the station, so then they can break it down quite evenly. Or you might have one athlete who's a better runner, slightly more advanced at running than the other, but the other one might be a stronger athlete. So then you need to utilize their strength in the station work whilst giving them enough recovery at the end of the station, and your runner can really take the last bit of the station. So even if they're more gassed going on the run, because of their level of running, they're going to be more even with the lesser runner partner, who's just maybe put a big effort in the start of the station, but saved himself to then recover more, to be able to send the run at a lot harder pace, because he's going to need to keep up with his faster running partner. There's loads of elements like that. Or you've got, if you're in a mixed, obviously, like, you've got open men's weight to do as a mixed pair, whereas some females just haven't quite got the size on the mass to be moving those sleds that well. So your male is probably going to have to take a bit of the brunt on the strength work. But like I say, a lot of the ladies can run very well, or so they might need to then save them again to push them on the runs, or vice versa with the male. Like, I think it's all about that communicating with your partner, assessing your strengths and weaknesses, and then splitting the stations sort of accordingly, how you're going to make it work best between you, to try and always save your lesser runners' legs towards the end to help them. Because the run, some people have that false impression that you need to recover on the runs, whereas over half your race is running in a high rock, so you need to run fast. You need to run as hard as you can. Like, it counts. Every second counts on that run. So I personally feel you need to push those runs really hard.
And then what about for the ergs? Do you have any? Is there any way, like, we've heard quite a few different like tactics, and we've tested different things in our races. Like, now we do the ski erg based on like time intervals instead of like distance. But do you have any advice for the ski and the row?
So myself and Ciaran, we've been doing 125s and changing at 125 meters, 125 meters, and work our way through like that, which works quite well. Me and Lee, in the last one we done it because it was a very different dynamic, which we can touch base on in a bit, racing with a different style athlete. And we went 150s and then finished off with 100, which also worked. I think the times were very close. So there's no perfect way. It both worked really well. Myself and my wife Ella, we also done a mixed, which Ella is she won't mind me saying, she's an average athlete. She's your everyday athlete. Like, she's quite new into fitness really. The last few years have really got involved in the gym and become a coach at our gym and trained and got involved in it all that way. So we went out with a very different approach to our race. She just wanted to do it for us as a couple, so something we ticked off. So that meant on the ski erg and stuff, like, we split it slightly differently, where we done like a sandwich effect of I started, done a big brunt at the start, and then give her the middle, and then I would finish off as well. We done that on most of the ergs and a lot of the station stuff, which worked really well for us, and it helped save her for the runs. The runs are what she struggles with, so I tried to protect her as much as I could on the runs, and then pace her around, because she was really sort of set on getting a target she had got her mind on. So I really helped her get through, and we had a great time in Dublin with that one.
Oh, that's cool.
That's awesome. I think there's that is like what's happening now, isn't it? Over the years, like tactics are evolving, you can actually start to get beat your PB just by being clever about how you split the stations and the running. Like, I mean, we definitely ran our first ever high rocks and used the run as a recovery. and then now it's like, we do the sandwich effect, or we like one of us, like whoever is feeling better, especially sometimes we've gone into a race and one of you is feeling awful, so the strategy's gone out, and whoever's feeling better starts the station and finishes the station to give the other one a bit more recovery to hit the runs a bit faster.
No, it is interesting, and like you say, every time you kind of like learn something new to then take with you for the next race. What about for like you mentioned your partner that you're doing Vienna with, is it Lee?
Lee Tuck.
So it's a slightly different dynamic with you and Lee compared to you and Ciaran when you're pairing up.
It's come about, like I say, it felt like I was sort of cheating on my wife a little bit, jumping out with Lee. Like, it was a moment when I was trying to break it to Ciaran that obviously him being out, I was like, I had to really set on still hitting Vienna and hitting those European Championships. So me and Lee decided to pair up and have a go in London and see where things went. He's more of an explosive athlete. He's very strong. He's probably closely matched to me on that power output. And I'd say he's probably a little off mine and Ciaran's run pace. Last time I just sit behind whoever I'm working with. I'm like, you go at your pace, I will hang on. Just doesn't matter whether it's Ciaran, whether it's Lee. I'll just go dark and I will hold tight. So don't look back. I will be there. And I sat behind Lee in London, and I think our runs, I think there was more in the tank, which I'm quite excited to see what we put out the bag in Vienna, because he's come from professional football player, and the guy's an athlete. He's an absolute professional at what he does, and you can see that when you work with him, when you train with him and race with him. But I think he was too paced in the run, which then just sort of made us shy of that sub 50 we was aiming for. So I'm going to try and get him to dig a little bit deeper in Vienna, and we'll see where we go with that. But looking at the station times, we were faster on the stations, but gave up time on the runs compared to mine and Ciaran's time.
That's interesting. And then would you think about, I know you just said you like sit behind someone and hold on, would you think about going in front and setting the pace, or is that just
so I do off the back end of Ciaran always say like I finish stronger, so like I'd let him find his pace at like the first 4 stations or so, and then if I feel he's starting to drop off, like I'll pop up front and start. But a few times where he'd probably mention it as well, like we're coming at Dublin and he went to go to the water station. I'm like, no, come on, we're going. We're on a good time. Just need water. We're like, no time for that. Come on. We'll drink when we're done. But like, when I get into that mode, and we're pushed through.
And then for your laps, I always find it interesting to see what people do, whether they just go off feel, whether they try and time it on their watch, whether they look at a clock going round. Like, what's your kind of strategy? Or do you, I think someone said they break the race into thirds and they try and look at what the time is after, say, the sled pull and the farmer's carry. How do you kind of pace your race?
Like the double style, Ciaran is the timer. Like he's got his watch, like he's clocking. He knows where we've got to be every time. For me, whether it's solo or the double stuff, I'm like raw dog. I just run by feel. I only got a Garmin for Christmas. My wife got me a Garmin for Christmas. I keep forgetting to put it on, but I've always, whether it was like 5k, 10k races or anything, I've just run off my feel, and I've just like, I'm going to go hard until I feel I can't run any faster, and just see how long I can hang on. And and it's kind of worked for me to a point. So we'll see how technology helps me as I start to try and get used to this Garmin and actually following some pacing. It might change the game.
That's so funny. I wonder whether it will, or whether you're just like, I don't know, will it like play mentally into your head? You'll be like, oh, I'm going fast, and you'll feel better. Or you look and you think you're going faster than you are, and you look at your watch sometimes, you go, oh shit, I thought I was going faster than that. Oh man, that's cool. And then so talking about we've talked about you as an athlete. What about you as a coach? Because you own a gym, don't you?
So we opened up a High Rocks gym now, I think about 18 months ago now, myself and another couple of guys. We come up with this idea where was training just wasn't getting the sort of
the stuff I needed, the equipment I needed, the sort of facility I needed to carry on training my high rock. So we sort of put our heads together and thought, oh, we just rent a space and we can start doing some high rock stuff. And then it literally spiraled from there to guys were like, oh, this is cool. Can you open up for members? And we sort of opened it up small based, and then it's just gone crazy. The last 18 months have been wild in the gym, and it's still like a side
business that I'm running full time still and sort of very involved with. So trying to bounce and juggle everything and be training for the level I am as well. It's pretty chaos at life, but my wife is a big help on the gym. She runs all like the admin side and everything else, and has now started coaching as well. She's done on her training, so she does a lot of the daytime stuff. And Mark, my business partner, he's again very involved and takes a lot of the brunt of the coaching side, and I just do the evenings, jump in, and I'm down to that. Not so much now. When we started, it was me. A lot of us had to put a lot in, but now we've got coaches and everything else to give us a little bit of a break. But yeah, jumping into the coaching scene from being always an athlete, I've absolutely loved. I never realised how much I would enjoy giving back what I've learned over the years, and teaching other people and seeing other people improve through the help of us. And people come to you and say, like, you've changed my life. You've given me a direction which I didn't have prior to starting fitness. And that's really rewarding. There's something about helping other people, which I'd never realised how much it would give me a buzz as well, seeing them do great. So yeah, I really enjoy it.
Yeah, and I think you probably don't realize how much experience and knowledge you have, over the years and years of you training as an athlete and like learning from other coaches and like competing. Like I think sometimes as a coach you forget that not everyone knows what you know, and then you can actually give back so much, and some simple tips that you have, like people are like, oh my god, I never knew that, like that's so helpful, thank you. Like I think it's a really nice way to give back to community. And is it high rocks, all high rocks classes, or kind of CrossFit, or any biking thrown in, or?
No, so we're functional fitness based gym, so it's very much on that functional fitness style training, and then it's we have the high rocks on the side, but everyone loves the high rocks. The high rocks is just everyone is into it, and we run all style of stuff, but mostly high rocks and a lot of running. I chuck a bit of erg work, bit of bike out there, but from the cycling aspect, I don't do too much of that. We've got a run club and there's a lot of running, and that side goes down.
Oh, yeah, cool.
That's cool. And do you just say to all the members when they ask you for a race strategy to just send it and hold on, or?
That's my side. But we've got Mark is like, we're like the yin and the yang of the gym. Mark's brilliant coach. He's done like 20 years experience in coaching. PT. He's very knowledgeable in the game, and he's also a decent high rocks athlete. He hasn't done a great deal of races. He saves himself. He does about 2 a year, but he knows his game. He knows his stuff as well. So we do high rocks workshops and stuff like that, which we sort of bounce off our opinions, bounce off each other, and it works really well to get that overall spread across the board on style of high rocks racing.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, it's nice to have like the yin and the yang, like you say, and different people in the gym and different coaches and different styles of coaching, isn't it? To help everyone, and every athlete, I guess, or every client you work with needs something slightly different. Some people respond to something much better than something else.
No, definitely.
Everyone's always interested in like how people train, and what people do. What would like a typical kind of training week for you look like, whilst you're also trying to juggle like the gym and the business and family and everything else that's going on?
Yeah, so like I say, I'm quite lucky that as owning the business, can be quite flexible in the fact that I can jump in and get these sessions done in and around my little windows of time. I train 6 days a week. I'd have like two to three double days where I'd get a run in as well. So sort of very focused on 3 specific run workouts without no load. And then my strength sessions, and then I do the sort of high rocks WOD style workouts amongst that. I don't tend to do a lot of running, like a lot of compromised running. I think that's kind of moved on a little bit from the whole high rocks training opinions changed so much over the last couple of years, which But I've personally found solely running, just focusing on that run improvement on its own game, and then adding it to your high rocks racing when you come to the race, rather than always compromise running, is sort of the best move forward for me at the minute.
Yeah. And do you have a coach, or do you coach yourself?
So I've jumped on recently with me and Ciaran have been following Andy Perosini with the hybrid engine.
Oh yeah.
And just on their hybrid plan there, which to be fair, I kind of pick and choose what I follow off of them, and then what I add into my own sort of training. And we had some great stuff on our whiteboard at the gym, so I like to, if it works within my training block, I jump in with the members and hit a session, like just get sweaty with everyone else. So I really enjoy that social aspect of training.
It's so nice training in a group, isn't it? Like,
like you can get so obsessed about training on your own that it's dull. Like, I know Ciaran spends a lot of time just working out of his garage basically, but he comes down to ours sort of once a week. We try to get, and because it's a good hour and a half travel, but he comes and jumps in, we train together, and he jump into class now and then. And like he said, the atmosphere and the element of having other people around, even if you're on different levels, it just picks you up. It just makes it fun to train like that.
Yeah, and it brings that aspect of competition a little bit, even though like everyone's doing something different. It just makes you maybe push a little bit harder, doesn't it? Or you won't give up. If you're feeling rough, you look over and somebody else is suffering as well. So it just it makes you suffer and just embrace it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
No,
and then quickly, maybe we could just touch on like tapering, as you are currently in a taper for Vienna, and I'm sure people listening might have races coming up over the next few weeks. What kind of advice would you maybe give people that are heading into a race the week before?
Like again, with tapering for me, I try and keep it pretty simple in the fact that like I won't change a lot of the necessarily plan I'm doing. Like I'll work through, but I just drop my percentage of effort. That's kind of off of a feel. With it, as you come into that last week, I'd say like the first, say it was I was racing on the Saturday, the Monday, I'm probably only be training at like 80%, and then as the week rolls on, I'm just dropping that percentage effort level. So I'm not going so deep. I won't do any strength sessions, so I won't do any heavy squats or no big deadlifts or anything stupid, because see that's gonna really tax my my muscle fatigue, and I try to save myself for race day. And by running again, I'll maybe do my thresholds, but I'd only do sort of 3/4 of the workout. I drop a run or two off of there, just not to go too deep. I just try and save my energy and try and follow that through so it comes into the race as I'm feeling a bit fresher. But like I said, I don't like to change a mass amount because I know it works and what I'm doing is good. I just try and not get so fatigued and save myself a little bit.
Yeah, I think that's the key, isn't it? And Vienna's the Open European Championships, isn't it? So it's open weights for everybody.
Yeah.
And then how do you feel like, does that change the race for you? Because like it's quite a big difference between open weights and pro weights.
It's faster. It's more of a sprint race than when you've got pro weights. So that just slows it down slightly, which is suits me quite. I don't mind the pro weight, but as a bigger guy, I think I work quite well. But yeah, open weight, it's an all out runners race. Like you have a lot of the speedy guys will be the ones who are really in the mix because they can move the open weights well as well. Whereas sometimes you chuck the speedy guys out with the pro, it just knocks them and you can get away from them on the stations. Whereas there's no hiding on the open. You've got to send it.
Yeah. Oh man. And you have a time in mind, like sub 50? Were you saying?
We're going sub 50. It's happening. It's out there. What do we go? We went. Yeah, me and Lee went 50:48 in London. Ciaran was also happy to know that mine and Ciaran's PB is 50:47, which he messaged me instantly, said, "I'm so glad you didn't beat me."
That's so funny.
So,
it's good though, and I mean it's tough, isn't it, to be in Ciaran's position, because anyone like carrying an injury and trying to get in and wanting to be there, but hopefully it like sometimes it just gives you the fire in your belly, and that when he does get back with you, he is going to be absolutely buzzing to be back on that track. So sometimes it works in a positive way, even though at the time you feel held back. And
we've had the chat, and like you say, it was knocked him hard. It was the fact of having to come away from a race and not doing it was hurt him a lot. again, he loves it. He trains so hard. He sets his goals. His life is high rocks. He's built a career out of it now, and he's done really well. But yeah, he loves it, and it knocks him when he's had to pull out because of an injury.
Yeah. But then at the same time, it's good. You've obviously got a really good like athlete relationship where you can keep, you're keeping yourself ticking over and you're being the best you can be. Because I think sometimes we talk about that as like a doubles partnership. Like you both need to be the best you can be. Like there's no point you not racing or you like chilling out a little bit while Ciaran's kind of trying to, get his knee back in and trying to do all the work he needs to do. You need to keep yourself like right at the top and be as strong as you can be, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And quickly, I was just going to ask, what for the open race, running like a 15-minute, what run splits are you doing?
You're looking to do, can I look to hold like 320s, 325s?
God, rapid. Why?
Hold tight.
Probably, but he's not sure because he doesn't have a Garmin and he just goes by feel. So
Fast. That's how
fast.
I run.
Yeah,
I just run fast.
Yeah,
Run fast.
Okay, usually we finish off with 8 questions at the podcast, if you are happy for us to go for them.
Yeah.
The first one being the question that everyone asks: what shoes do you wear to race high rocks?
I'm lucky enough to get looked after by Puma. So I wear the Pumas. I think I've got the DV8s at the minute, which I've been running. I've actually not been wearing the Elites. I've been wearing the non-carbon plate one, which I quite like.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I
think someone else said that the other day. They didn't go. Yeah, interesting.
Carbon plate.
Yeah. Okay, next one. Which has been your favourite high rocks venue to race in?
In Manchester, to be fair, I love the big clock, the window. It is a really cool scene in there. So yeah, Manchester.
Yeah, Manchester is nice. That was our favourite as well. Next one. Which is your favourite station and why?
Wobbles, I'm going to say.
Just because it's a sufferfest.
The sufferfest, yeah. You're in, you're out, you're done. You can rest at the end. But I think they used to be my nemesis, and I think I trained them so much that I learned to love them. Now they don't fear me whatsoever. So I think that was it.
What kind of split do you guys do on the wall balls? Do you have a tactic, or do you just one of you goes until you can't go anymore?
Yeah, ideally, if we're going to go 25s, you might try that. But I think what works best is obviously your runner, your guy who starts it is not going to be he's going to be slightly more fatigued. So he'd go until he can't go anymore. And then the other guys probably had 30 odd seconds, 35 seconds to recover. So then they can do a big hit. If they can finish it, that's great. If not, like you get close to it. And then the guy resting would have had enough time to then keep that pace up. So just go until you slow, like do not slow down. If you start to miss targets or you start to fade, drop the ball, switch with your partner, because that's when you're going to lose time. It's more about how you're feeling. Dig deep, but don't slow down. If you start to slow down, change. Your partner's rested, so go again. Yeah,
fair. That's a good tip. Okay, next, if you could, this is a hard question for you. If you could do
this is interesting, yeah.
a doubles high rocks with anyone in the world, who would you choose?
From any background,
anyone, dead or alive?
I'll go Lance Armstrong. I've seen he's doing a bit of high rocks.
Yeah, and, I know that's actually a viable athlete, isn't it, right now?
An absolute legend. I know, like his career is like more highs and lows than anything I've ever read. His books, his whole life story is amazing. Like, I have so much respect for, like, no matter what his shaded side of his career, what the guy was as an athlete, and what it took to do what he done. It's amazing. So, like, the fact that he's still out there smashing sport and never really didn't go away and sulk, and he could have disappeared off into the shadows and just gone off of the radar, whereas not, he's still out there, he's still doing stuff, he's still obviously very fit and got a racer's mindset. So yeah, I think he'd be a guy who would like to go dark with me. I reckon we could go to some dark places together.
Yeah,
that would be one deep dark hole, wouldn't it?
That is such a good answer. I don't think anyone said that one yet. Okay, next up is, do you fuel for the High Rocks race? And if so, what do you have and when do you take it in the race?
Yeah, I've got sort of two sponsors with Precision Fuel and Hydration and Combat Fuel, both back me, which is really helpful. For me, like the hydration side is so important. Being hydrated prior to that race, because there's not a lot of opportunities to drink, or I won't let you drink if you partner with me in the race. So, yeah, the 24 to 48 hours before, it's that electrolyte loading. It's making sure you're taking on plenty of fluids to get enough in you prior to the race. And then when it comes to it, I tend to have like a caffeine gel 15 minutes before the race starts. And then I've usually got a gel, not a normal carb gel, that I'd have if we're doubles. I'd probably have it on the rower. Like we'd both crack one open for Ciaran, and I'd have one myself about that point, and then that'd be it. I find that mid stage there, it's just about enough to give me that kick of life to get me to the end of the race.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, the row is a popular place to take it, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay, next one is, what's your favorite type of training session for High Rocks? Like a format or threshold?
I love like a good window work station stuff. They're like 6 minutes on, where we do a full distance station into some like max cows on a ski or a row, and then 2 minutes rest, and then send it again. So like that real hard, spiky, interval based station stuff. I quite enjoy that.
Yeah, I knew it was going to be something like that. It wasn't going to be the long, easy run, was it?
No.
Okay, next one is, why should someone sign up for their first High Rocks?
Oh, there's so many reasons to do it. I can't. I think just give yourself a reason to train, give yourself a target. Like no matter your level, whether you're beginning, whether you're just getting into something, you sign up. You've got a date. You've got something which makes you go, I've got to get up today. I've got to go to the gym. I've got to hit that session because I've got a race in 6 weeks. I want to go and be the best that I can be. It doesn't matter where I finish as a position, but I want to go there and do myself proud. And I think that's what gives so many people a good goal to train.
Yeah.
Give yourself a target, set yourself a challenge, feel better for it when you complete it.
Yeah, 100%. Especially in winter, you need something to get yourself out to go and train in the cold. Okay, last one is there anyone that you would love to see on our podcast that we could interview, or a type of person in the High Rock space?
I think Lee would probably be a cool one. Lee Tuck, who I'm competing with, he's got a great background. His story is he was a ex-professional football player. He went over to Malaysia and was playing in the Malaysia Premier League. He was a top player over there.
Cool.
Crazy. He's got all the Malaysian guys, and then there's little Lee. He's with his ginger hair in amongst the World Cup photos. I'm like this, but it's great. He was he's got a cool story, and he's another family man, running a full-time business and then making it work within the High Rocks community as well. So it's really cool. I like these stories of obviously showing everyone life's a bit more real. Not everyone has the time to just solely be a professional athlete and train all the time. Like you can do it from being a working man, family man, and you can still make it happen. You can still race at a top level. So yeah, it'd be cool to hear some more people sort of shedding that light rather than all about the professional level.
Yeah, I agree. It's like the relatability, isn't it? And then people realizing that they can do the same thing and they can get to a certain level, even with all the having to go to work and having a family that you need to spend time with as well. I think that's really cool. Maybe we could hook up with Lee after you've done Vienna, and then also we can see how Vienna went and how he felt getting into see if he got into a dark place, or whether it was whether he was allowed to grab a glass of water, or whether he got showered at.
Definitely.
Oh man, well, thank you so much, Tony. If everyone wants to follow you, see how Vienna goes, how you and Ciaran might get on in Miami, and what else? Have you got any other races actually, or is it those the two big ones now?
Yeah, they're like our big goals, and obviously when we make that E15, we're going to be in Chicago. Sending it with the boys. So, yeah.
Happy days. So where can everyone follow you? Is it Instagram the best place?
Yeah, I'm on the gram, Revell_MTB. It's kind of my best place on socials really at the minute. I'm a bit of a dinosaur on the tech, so I'll give them a check out. So at therevolutiongym.com.
Perfect. And where's your gym? Where's it based?
We're based down in Dorset, south of England.
Okay, cool. So if anyone, and do you do drop-ins and stuff like that? Like if anyone wanted to, like, if it was around there, they can drop in and
I said
perfect.
Dorset. We're actually in Hampshire. I'll get that one right as well. But yeah, we're
Okay.
just in the we're Ringwood, Hampshire, the Revolution Gym. Yeah, we do drop-ins, we do classes, we do like 6 weekly sim days. Everyone comes in, that's big buzz. So yeah, there's anything
that's
high
cool.
rocks, anything functional fitness, come check us out.
Oh,
Yeah.
perfect.
And
Well,
whilst I'm just plugging, I just plugged like the Revolution online programming as well. So if you guys obviously can't make our gym, we do some programming stuff as well. So check us out.
Perfect. Yeah, cool. So yeah, they can just go to your Instagram, and it'll be we can link the gym's Instagram as well, and then if they pop to the profile, I'm guessing they can get it on your bio.
Yeah, it's all
perfect. Yeah, we'll link it all in the show notes, and obviously we'll share it when we make this live on Instagram.
Awesome.
Perfect. So what's today? You've got training today?
Yeah, so I've got a steady little session. I'm going to run today. Do a half hour easy interval run, just keeping the legs turning today. And yeah, a bit of coaching, and that'll do for the day.
And all the carbs.
Yeah, carving up.
Awesome. Well, the best of luck for Vienna this weekend. And if we don't speak before, from Miami as well, we'll be watching from afar, and hopefully the journey goes a little bit better than the way it went for Melbourne.
Yeah, we're going a week early this time. Taking the family, so the wives might keep us a bit more in check. Yeah,
that's it. You guys take your wives, and you'll be fine. And thank you to everybody for listening. If you could follow this podcast on whatever podcast platform you are listening on, that would help us greatly to get more awesome guests. And share and like this podcast episode, and go over and give Tony a follow, and follow him and Ciaran's journey, and see how him and Lee get on in Vienna this weekend. And we will join you guys on the next episode.
Amazing. Thanks so much for having me, guys, and hope everyone enjoys listening.
Thank you.